How are you all doing? Good evening. Well, the month is going by. It's already the second to last one, right? Second to last day. Yes, tomorrow. Yes, there's still one more day of March. Just end already, March, please.
That it.
March, end already. Let's get to the information. How have you been? Well, it's been a busy day, just like this whole month has been, and I'm going to finish it off with everything I've got. Omar Hernandez, first comment of the day. Oh no, it's Pepe and Vivo with the first comment of the day. Greetings to Pepe and Vivo. So,
Greetings to Omar.
to Manuel, to Christy Krantz, to Roberto Carrera. How are you, Roberto? Gabriel? Well, to the community, thank you very much. Let's start with the information, with the facts. Please go ahead and give it a like, we kindly ask you. And well, let's get to the information. Let's go. Right now, let's get into the details. Look, something tremendous is happening. The truth is, it's surprising when you say, well, we've seen it all, but these explosions aren't just explosions, they're mega explosions. I mean, we're talking about something big. Look at how they shoot out like missiles from inside the explosion. Here we're talking about, in my opinion, now, with all the experience from so many wars that have happened lately and so many of these things, well, let's go. Destroyed weapons depots without yet seeing what it's about because this image just came to me now. I would bet it's a weapons depot.
Exactly. Well, actually, right now, President Donald Trump shared the image. He didn't give any context, nothing. But yes, there is information from a United States official who was quoted by the Wall Street Journal saying that United States forces attacked an ammunition depot in Isfahan, Iran with 900 7-kilogram bunker-busting bombs. And a large volume of bunker-busting bombs or penetrating munitions was used for the attack. In fact, in the afternoon here, images could already be seen of the V2S heading toward this area, which was really impressive.
Here's another image. What are we seeing and what happened here?
It's an attack carried out by Iran that affected Dubai, an area called Al-Satawa, and, well, the country reports it not as a highly populated area. I mean, it could have been much more dangerous.
Tremendous. This report comes from data directly from Saudi Arabia. It's quite a serious issue. Now, another matter regarding Dubai concerns the United Arab Emirates, which is also being reported in official media from that country. Now, another thing that also draws attention is this image. What is it about? What are we seeing there?
That's it.
The distance is also good. Well, we saw it twice, and what are we seeing here?
Here we are seeing a statement issued by the Ministry of Saudi Arabia, where they report that in the last few hours they had an attack of 8 ballistic missiles from Iran that were detected and fortunately intercepted by Saudi Arabia. These were heading towards the capital there already. Sorry.
It says the following. The Saudi Ministry of Defense reports, as you said, in the last hour, 8 ballistic missiles have been detected and intercepted. 8 ballistic missiles. I mean, obviously, they're not seeking peace. That was already obvious. But as you said, at least with some countries, it seemed like they were going to hold back, which is clearly not happening there. Well, there's nervousness in the countries because they're being pressured more and more to get involved in the conflict, especially the United States. And the thing is, honestly, I mean, they're demanding that the United States finish what it started, that is to bring down the Iranian regime. But at the same time, they tell the United States, give me a hand, so you too, I mean, help me, right? To, well, bring down that regime. And that, well, it also seems that for now hasn't happened. Well, we're going to talk about some things in a moment, signs that this could spread to other countries as well. Well, let's move on to other topics because, well, within all this conflict, there are reports that United States troops are already arriving. Let's talk about that. What do you know? There are already details, or so it is said, according to what Columbia Broadcasting System News reported. At this moment, the special forces, because I mean troops, there are about 53,000 soldiers, more or less, 53,500 soldiers. The United States, according to reports, had included or deployed hundreds of special forces personnel, including the Navy SEALs. The famous Army Rangers from the East and the Middle East are already deployed. Besides thousands of Marines out there, there are also about 10. By the way,
Yes, and well, among the military options being considered, for example, are opening the Strait of Hormuz, taking over oil facilities on Alcar Island. Well, today Donald Trump brought it up again, and also taking control of Iran's enriched uranium reserves. This obviously would be something that would take, well, weeks, possibly because of the size of the Strait of Hormuz. It's one of the most important points in the world, remember? 20% of the world's oil passes through there. Y pues ya está afectando to countries, especially in Asia, and Europe is also already facing complicated measures. President Trump stated today that although negotiations are ongoing with Iran, the war could end soon, according to him. Today, they asked Carla Leavitt about the claim that it would be in 30 days, and she said no, that it would be in 60. They should get the facts right because according to this, there's still another month left. But yesterday, interestingly, they interviewed the Vice President J.D. Vance, and he said, no, we're not going to be there for a year or two. I mean, they've already increased it. They're adding more years. They're adding more years. Also, the day before,
This less than 10.
less than 10, the Secretary of War said he compared that Iran, I mean, that people, when it was Vietnam, people were against that war, but that in the end, they realized it was positive, which is not true. That has never happened. But anyway, he, in his illusion, feels like that's how he can justify Iran. Speechless.
The 100 Years' War, look, less than the 100 Years' War. Ah, yeah, every time it's incredible. Well, a big shout out to Luis Rojas, a big hug for you too. Greetings to FedEx as well. Greetings, how have you been? Very good to Rublos. What's up, Rublos? How have you been? What's new with Perla? Also, greetings all the way to Argentina. How are things going on that side of the world? Are we going to go over there? We're very close to the United States now.
It's not such a good idea.
It's not such a good idea, but well, let's see if they accept us over there. Ezekiel Cardona, how have you been? Monica Sepulveda, a big greeting. Let's move on to other also important matters because among all this, there's been an Iranian attack that hit an oil area in Kuwait and also what we just saw at the port of Dubai. What's going on? What is known right now about this topic?
Well, what is known is that an Iranian projectile apparently hit this Kuwaiti oil tanker, which was located.
A Kuwaiti oil tanker near Dubai.
That was in Dubai, in a Dubai port. It would be in a Dubai port, but it's a Kuwaiti oil tanker. It was hit by an Iranian missile, and the attack obviously caused a fire on board, structural damage that could lead to an oil spill. In fact, Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates issued an alert about possible leaks. And well, according to the Kuwait Petroleum Corporation, the ship was fully loaded with crude oil at the time of impact. Just imagine, just imagine. And despite the explosion and despite the fire, fortunately, there were no victims or injuries from this attack because it could have ended well. It has been a
tremendously bad. Tremendously bad. I mean, the thing is that between this area, which is, sorry, there it is. This area and this area, which is the Gulf of Oman, the Persian Gulf, this stretch, they estimate just over 3,000 ships are waiting to pass from one side to the other. Here is the area where you don't want to suddenly cross. There have been cases of 2 or 3 ships on one side, 2 or 3 ships on the other. But, well, with the risk that this, well, could be extremely dangerous for people, for the crew, and also for the ocean, which could be tremendously polluted in that part of the world. The British Maritime Security Agency, which is the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations, reported that the attack happened about 31 nautical miles northwest of Dubai. So, if we look here at this map, let's go to the actual port to see how far away it happened. Let's measure a distance. How much did it say there? 31 miles, which would be what? About 50 kilometers more or less. So 50 kilometers should be around here. Let's zoom out a little. That's the distance. Northwest then in this direction, so it should be around this area. I mean, from this perspective, you say, look where they're hitting, right? I mean, they're hitting right next to the coast. We're looking at it from a satellite perspective, obviously, but still, how far are Iran's attacks reaching? We have to remember that those attacks include the 8 missiles that were reportedly intercepted. Clearly, this one wasn't intercepted because it hit the area. There are also reports of 16 direct hits from projectiles on vessels that have occurred just in that area, so there have already been several ships affected on other days. There are also reports of 24 incidents throughout the Strait of Hormuz, which is this entire area. 24 incidents. 16 in this area, and the rest are spread out in other regions near the strait. Por algo no están pasando. So it's not just because there was 1 or 2 incidents. There are already 24 incidents in the area. The escalation is there, and today, well, oil didn't go below 110. And with all that, greetings to Mexico City, to Yaya as well, a big hello, to Breseca, how have you been? To Francisco Arce, of course, how have you been, Francisco? To Pixel Cat, and to the whole community, thank you very much. Creo que Francisco es el, no sé. Whether he invented it or not, Well, the term Pepe Nautas, but he's the one who remembers it, and maybe it was earlier. But I think it's gonna stick now. Like, is it Francisco's?
Yes, it's Francisco Nemos.
Hello, Francisco. Veronica, how are you? Veronica de la Cruz, greetings to Mexico City. Thank you. How are you, Veronica? Let's move on to other matters, also important. Many topics related to the Trump issue. There's a comment from this Lewitt, not from Carmen Lewitt. That's why she appears on the front page today. Today we gave her a spot on the front page in a small size because, well, she has been making a lot of comments. Today we saw her about 3 or 4 times during the broadcasts making, well, comments, well, being part of the narrative. You know how this goes. By the way, she was wearing Mexican pink.
Yes, she started the press conference by asking for a prayer, something really unusual. No, because that's not something normal, I mean, in political terms.
And she started, I mean,
In the whole Christian way.
that's how she started. No, Jazz Guadalupana. Even, you know what she started? In the sky? A star?
No.
No, I mean, it gets really intense. I mean, you say, well, maybe we should separate that a little or just turn it into a theocracy right away. And, well, that's it. Theocracy versus theocracy. Just go for it and see who wins, right? Yeah, I know. The point is that Donald Trump is suggesting that Arab countries finance the cost. Here we've already entered an unexpected phase, a surprise. The bill arrived, not the check actually. The bill arrived like saying, well, you tell me to put an end to all this, well, then you have to pay. You don't want to send soldiers? No, well, we don't want to. You don't want to launch missiles? No, well, neither do we. So at the very least, pay up. You have plenty of money, so, well, put in a little, right?
And besides, the United States could lose investments because they themselves are already holding back investments. Because they say, well, it's not going to be worth it with everything we're spending right now, not with the sponsors, with the damage they've caused. They've stopped the investments that the United States was going to make.
Now, if we look at it closely, I mean, honestly, this point, even though it sounds very, well, very much like Trump, this point could actually be accepted. At the end of the day, yes, in fact, they have a lot of money, and what's been missing is commitment. I mean, if you look at it from a strategic point of view, the commitment hasn't been there, but the demands have. Days before February 28, when the war begins, the Crown Prince's brother arrives in Washington and tells him, "We want you to get involved. We want you to put an end to the regime." I told the Saudi Arabian Minister of Defense that they would join the war if attacked, but nothing happened. They're attacked repeatedly, yet they don't join the conflict. I mean, on one hand, containment is perfect. We have to keep things as calm as possible. Why would we want anything else? An escalation is not ideal. I understand that perfectly. And in fact, wars, well, let's just say, I wish they didn't exist, but the practical reality of what's happening is you're demanding that they attack something and then you don't want to do anything about it, right? I mean, honestly, it's kind of weird, and you wonder, what are they playing at? What is it that they're asking for? What are they saying? I mean, in the end, it's a pretty strange situation, isn't it? What's going on there?
Well, right now, the Gulf countries, this is coming out in Associated Press, are pressuring Donald Trump because they want him to put an end to, or at least weaken, their regime system. Yes, right now they're still putting pressure. Among their internal complaints, they're saying they weren't notified in time, at least not the other countries. Sometimes, right now, we know that the prince, yes, that he was pressuring, but anyway. The other countries say they didn't know these attacks were going to happen, that there were no warnings. And the officials on Saudi time, look at your Arabs, Kuwait, Bahrain, have expressed in private conversations that they don't want the military operation to end until there are significant changes in the Iranian leadership or a drastic change in Iran's behavior. Because the reality is that there hasn't been a change. It's exactly the same as day one. It keeps attacking, it keeps carrying out attacks on the neighbors of the Gulf countries. And well, this information comes out thanks to obviously certain people who are present and provide the information anonymously.
That's the issue. Let's move on to other topics, but this is tremendous because in the end, these are two completely opposing positions. Let's go to the next topic. They return in the midst of the Persian Gulf conflict. Just what was missing, right? I mean, this Luffy shows up, right? Exactly. Luffy shows up and now he's up to his old tricks. The king of the pirates. Aren't the pirates coming back right in the middle of the Persian Gulf conflict?
Troubled waters?
winning over fishermen, right? I mean, look, the phrase really works for you. I mean, the tension between Iran, Israel, and the United States is really heating up. They're going all out against each other, and the pirates said, hey, there's something here. Where are they?
All of these guys are distracted?
Why are they called cargo ships? Many aren't oil tankers but carry goods. So the goods are just sitting there waiting for us. No one's moving them. They're going for it, right? Well, what's going on? There are movements of Somali piracy, right? By the way, there's a channel later. I'll check it again because I forgot the name, but I'm going to recommend the channel.
The Somalilandia?
The one who went to Somalilandia. That's amazing. That's amazing. We have many travel channels, mostly about unusual trips, not so much touristy, but trips that go beyond tourism. But they get into things, into strange places, not just different places. But there's a channel that has very few followers. Honestly, for what they're doing, they deserve more. I hope you'll support them if you're interested. But I don't know him. I don't know him. I have no idea. Who could it be? He's Spanish, but I've been following him for a while. And he just went to Somaliland. He already has 2 videos in Somaliland. I mean, I don't know if he's aware of where he's getting himself into. No, but that's why I like him, because he moves forward in his own style and travels alone. I mean, he records everything by himself. So yeah, his style is really interesting. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. I'll recommend him to you later. Just don't remind me, please, so I don't forget. Piracy, Somaliland. Somaliland had been contained. There had been operations. There had been contracts with security companies to contain these. I wonder, why the heck? Why is there so much piracy? If in the end it's international waters, well, I assumed you could defend yourself. If there are international rules about how you can defend yourself and you can't use just any weapon, then you can't have weapons that are more or less powerful. I mean, you have to defend yourself, but in a very limited way, and there's really no way to defend yourself against the Somalis under international law. So is that why they do it? They throw water at them. That's why they throw water at them. They throw other things at them because, well...
Captain Phillips, do you remember the movie that shows a case like that?
Yes, just in 2025, there were already about 130 incidents related to piracy according to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which was made back in the 80s. It's defined in Article 101, which defines any illegal act of violence or detention, or any act of depredation committed for personal purposes by the crew or passengers of a private ship or a private aircraft, or directed by a ship or an aircraft, that is, on the high seas, against people or property on board them, and against a ship or an aircraft, people or property that have been affected. With that, it's already considered piracy. But the thing is that things had gone down quite a bit. I don't know if it was because of private companies or not for 2024. In 2025, this started to go up, and now with this last quarter, well, they say there are a lot more incidents. In an area that is not exactly in the Strait of Hormuz, but rather in this area, in these zones where it is reported that piracy has increased, which covers almost all of Yemen and a small part of Oman. I don't know. I don't have reports that they've reached the Gulf of Oman, but I do know that all this area up to here is patrolled by the people from Somalia. Do they operate like a kind of stock exchange, or is it the result? I mean, is it a whole project? I mean, you look at it and say it's nothing. They're just some improvised boatmen with weapons. That's it. And they have nothing to do with that. There's a whole pretty professional industry, honestly. It's not just that they carry weapons, but all that movement they do in boats is extremely expensive. I mean, these are boats with powerful engines, with those racing engines. Yeah, and what they do is they gather in a sort of group, like, let's go. It's a place where there are like some cubicles and they say it. There's going to be a mission, let's say a pirate mission. There's going to be a pirate mission. Who bets on that pirate mission? Because it's been a while.
Los ingleses en la época de los piratas.
The pirate mission, it's going to cost, let's say, $200,000 among the payments. They're going to pay each one and they could lose their lives. So they already have a guaranteed payment. Let's see, it's going to cost 20 are going, that's $25,000, let's say, or $20,000 or $15,000 for each one. There you go. That's their payment. It's already paid, covered, whether they make it or not, they already have the payment. So, okay, that's $200,000 that need to be raised. So all the people who are betting on this, they say, okay, I'll put in two, me too, and they start gathering the money. And then, hey, they go for the ship, steal it, bring it back, and ask for a ransom. Hey, how much do you want for the ransom? I want $10 million. No, well, I'll give you one. No, give me three. And so on. They're negotiating. Okay, here you go, $3 million. Those $3 million. The majority, a large percentage, is kept by the Veros, I mean the pirates, Those who organized it, everyone already gets paid, they earned their salary and got a bonus for doing the job well. Not in quotes, and the other one. The other money is shared with the investors, those who, hey, I put in $1,000. Well, you know what? With those $1,000, you earned another 3,000. Just saying, no, hey, I put in 10,000. Well, you earned 20,000. So it's like a stock market. I mean, there are many families who live off of that, and they're not necessarily scammers, right? I mean, everything we're talking about is illegal. Obviously, all of that whole world, but it's fine. I mean, if it's real, it's pretty wild, but it's a lot more complex than it seems, right? And let's say that's why there are Lufus of our times, right? I mean, there are Redbeards, but now, well, they're not Redbeards anymore, right? Well, yeah, and some of the Somalis actually have red beards, literally. But anyway, that's beside the point.
Yes, the movie is called Captain. I said Phillips.
Captain Phillips.
And it's really good. An actor came out of there, the one who plays the main pirate. It was his first movie. He had never acted in anything before.
The one with the impressive face? Yes, he does.
I don't know if he kept going, no, but we did see him several times afterwards. I haven't seen him in a while, but he's really impressive. His teeth like really big and sticking out, gaunt.
Gaunt, very defined. Yes, but very, very skinny. Tom Hanks is perfect for roles like that. He's great for those characters. You can check this one out, right? But anyway, the point is that the pirates are becoming active again after they apparently seem to be under control. What does this cause? Well, there will be an extra cost on the products from this area, and let's see if they don't use that as an excuse to raise the price. No, it's just that it happened. Well, yes, I ordered something here in Mexico City, and that's where No, it's not that the beautiful straight went up in price, right? Well, it's always because of freeloaders too. Let's address other important matters too.
We're talking about a plague of nightmares, right?
Yes, nightmares. We're talking about a plague that's happened in California, and it's pretty curious. I'm not saying all of California, but it's already been reported in several regions. We'll talk in a moment about exactly where and what this is about, just a small detail first. For those just joining, I see you're not liking the stream, you're just sitting there. At least hit like, and if you want to subscribe, that's even better. A pest that has been detected in the San Gabriel Valley, which is in the southern part of California. A pest where some flies appear, right? And these flies, what they like, what they enjoy, right? What they want is to bother human eyes. To be pestering, let's say, biting the eyes. And this, well, obviously has caught people's attention. It's this area right here. We're seeing it on the map. It's this area near Los Angeles. No, well, I don't know about the community that's watching us if they've had the chance to see or experience these little flies, which is interesting.
They especially like to bite around the eyes and the face. The most affected cities right now are Altadena, Azusa, Glendora, and Monrovia. Those are the ones that are really affected. It's very close to the mountains, and that's where the most activity from these insects has been detected. The neighbors in this area say that the presence of the flies has completely changed their lives. Now they can't do outdoor activities, the parks are basically empty, and they're always worried because you never know what disease these flies might carry. In addition, these flies are known as buffalo flies, and they need blood to produce eggs. And that's why they're attacking these areas that are very sensitive. It's the eye, the head, and the neck, and the females have a kind of scissor-shaped mouth that cuts the skin, causing inflammation, intense itching, and redness. Right now, the authorities have started to confirm that there are bites that fortunately do not transmit diseases or are fatal, but they are very bothersome and can cause strong reactions. There could be someone who is, for example, allergic and could develop inflammation. And well, because of the increase in temperature and the fact that there has been a lot of water in the rivers and streams, they created the perfect environment for this plague, and it is reproducing very quickly. The mosquito control district is already applying the well-known larvicides in the rivers and in the areas where these black flies can breed.
That one is huge, huge. Greetings to Tapatia Plus.
Greetings, Tapatia.
Also to Carlos Martinez, to Blanca Barcelo, how have you been? Great. A big greeting to the whole Tapatia community. He can't tell us much, but we know he's there. Thank you, Tapatia. Greetings to the whole community that's joining and to those who support us with a huge super chat. Thank you, like Aurora. We send a big greeting and thanks to Aurora and to the whole community that supports us in that way. Thank you. Well, obviously, thank you. Another issue within this whole topic of the plague is something I think we've already seen quite a lot, which are often regional plagues. But as these extreme climates occur, especially with the combination of heat and humidity, well, we're going to be seeing them, right? So we have to be really alert about that. I mean, it's not something abnormal. There have always been plagues, but this time it seems more common to talk about this kind of news, right? Recently, we also talked about another plague that was happening in the northeastern part of Africa and that they were trying to contain it for Morocco. Sorry, Northwest.
Oh, yes, the locusts.
The locusts that were there. And I mean, even more.
The locust won't sting your face.
It stings your face.
But it eats your food.
It takes your food away, right?
Yes, but what can people in California, especially Southern California, do? That's right, don't go out wearing dark clothes, nothing black, blue, dark red, dark green, no dark clothing at all. Because they love the dark. Mosquitoes also love the dark. I've noticed that when I hang black clothes, they always stay there on the black clothes. They also recommend, obviously, wearing light colors to reduce the risk. And not to go to rivers or streams that are nearby, because there will be a lot more of these insects there.
Well, that's how things are. Friends, let's move on to another important topic, since we're already talking about California and all of this today. Well, speaking of seismic zones, today there was a very strong earthquake over there in Manawatu. Just to let you know, they have confirmed that even though it felt strong and there were quite a few scares, at least they assure us that nothing serious happened, right? Even though it was a 7.3 earthquake, what they do warn is that there will continue to be aftershocks. And if we look closer, there have already been several aftershocks reported. But well, it just happened and it was a scare. Nothing serious happened. That's in Manawatu over there in the Indonesia area, an area where, by the way, they report there is a kind of fruit, a fruit called snake fruit. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Let's see if we can show it now because it really is. It's very one of those curious facts you come across when you're looking at earthquake stuff in Indonesia and you say, hey, what's up with this? Oh no, this one, no. My son showed me this one off. Now I remember. My son showed me this fruit and said, hey, have you seen this fruit? It's really strange. I said, okay, find out where it's from. And I said, oh, look, it's from the seismic zone, one of the most. Well, this fruit, yeah, check this out to begin with. Why do they call it snake fruit? You'll notice it, just check it out. It has snake skin. I mean, it looks like snake skin. And it's a fruit that among the ones that produce the most alcohol. I mean, when you ferment it or do the process you have to do, this one produces much more alcohol than most fruits. I mean, it's easily usable to make alcoholic drinks. And in fact, in that region, they use it for that. It's called salaka, which is a kind of palm tree where a kind of fruit comes from. I'm not sure if it's like a coconut or something, but what do you think? I hadn't heard of it or tried it before.
A mí parece un huevo de dragón.
That it's not good. Well, these things. Fun facts from Astrid's channel. Well, let's move on to other interesting matters because, well, Netanyahu says the objectives have already been achieved to be calm, more or less, and everyone, 95% of the objectives, 98%, the conflict is over, he says. No, it's more or less halfway. I mean, like halfway, 50% of the objectives, a little more than half, he says.
Exactly, he says, today at the conference. He says he wants to set an exact date on the calendar for when it will end, but that more than half has already been achieved. And he says, are we about to put an end to the arms industry? These days we've seen a lot of attacks like the ones on weapons depots. And with the entire industrial base being destroyed, with entire plants, with its own nuclear problem as well. So we've definitely achieved more than half of the objectives. He said this on live television today in Israel. However, as he clarified, the same is true for the East, and it is beyond the halfway point in terms of objectives, and not necessarily in terms of time, since he has insisted that he does not want to get into timelines. I mean, no, he can't say in 2 weeks, we'll be done in 3 weeks, in 60 days. As Donald Trump says, he no longer has a specific date for when he will finish with the rest of the weapons that the Guard would have, and half of them.
And well, that's the issue, right? That's the report from Israel's strategy. Let's move on to other important matters as well. By the way, we haven't shown this image, which is related to this topic.
Since it was an attack that happened, we have to remember that Iran threatened to attack universities from the United States and Israel in the region. Well, the first attack already happened at a university called the American University of Sulaymaniyah in Iraq. No.
Yes, but yesterday
I remember.
I had mentioned a no. The one I mentioned is a university that also has a similar name, but it's in Lebanon. Yes, an American university in Lebanon, which, by the way, has already been evacuated, but this one is in Iraq. Look, it hasn't been evacuated.
I didn't see any news about it being evacuated.
Well, I hope so.
Because it was at night for me. But what is true is that many universities from the United States are in the Gulf countries doing research. For example, New York University is in Dubai, and many others like Massachusetts Institute of Technology also have a presence in the country. There are many countries and cities involved, especially, Ivy League universities, which are the most expensive ones. The United States has its franchises in the Gulf countries, and of course, with all the money they have, how could they not?
Exactly. Well, that's the huge issue with this university. By the way, as we're seeing here,
we're seeing an attack that happened in the Soleimani area in Iraq, in the Kurdistan region. We have to remember that they're also being attacked by the Iranians.
The northern part of Iraq, where the attacks are also continuing. The Kurds, they might also get involved in the conflict if the attacks keep heading that way. I don't know how prepared they are, in terms of the amount of weapons and so on, but look, that's it. They're also getting hit hard in those areas. And what we're seeing here...
We're seeing a comet that was seen on the 28th of this month in Washington. This month has been...
Or a fireball, a meteorite.
A meteorite.
A full meteorite.
This month has been full of these phenomena in the sky, especially in the United States.
I don't think so. Yeah. Hey, look, that's really curious. I don't know. We try to bring you, when there's like today, a meteorite passed by and it was caught on camera. We try to show it to you, but this is already ridiculous. There are so many now, we don't show them anymore because it would get boring. All in the same day. Yeah. Things have been really, really active lately. And besides that, in hues, right? San Antonio, a meteorite fell, but it hit a house. It left a small hole in their house. Luckily, nothing serious happened or anything, but when have we ever seen so many meteorites falling? Yes, this is actually a topic that's being discussed in some forums about the noise, and I checked, it's there. It's classic, right? The 20,000 theories, but at least there are some. It's happening often enough to generate curiosity, right? Let's move on from this situation to other interesting topics as well.
Trump reportedly made a statement, according to his advisors, that Gulf countries won't like. And that's because he might abandon the war with Iran and leave the Strait of Hormuz. Just as things are all stuck, today, for example, in Iran, ya pasaron una ley para ellos cobrar un peaje to all the ships passing through there. Instead of looking like they're pulling back, they're actually getting more entrenched. They say, no, they're not leaving now.
They're already making it a business, that's it.
It's because it worked for the Yemenis, remember? The Yemenis, they charged $2 million for each ship. They would send them an email. And interestingly, the companies didn't want to say anything. Everything was found out through leaks, but they made a lot of money doing this. So, Iran is also looking at how to make a business out of this. According to advisors, Donald Trump is willing to put an end to the campaign against Iran, even if the strait remains closed.
No.
Just imagine, he gets scared there.
That's how things are. Just imagine what will happen like that. If something like that is done and leaves everything a mess there, the alliances will end, right? Is Saudi Arabia going to say that? Then who should I ally with? Well, with China, I mean, look, China control Iran for me. Oh, sure, 2 or 3 calls, they control Iran, and soon the business will be with China. I mean, a lot of things can happen in this conflict, but especially if control is lost in that sense for the United States strategy. Well, now everyone is looking out for themselves, right? Each country is looking out for its own interests, and the Arab countries, they say no, they don't feel it. I think the commitment, they avoid the conflict because they're not part of it. Comments like those make them even less likely to join since they question the commitment. Getting involved would make things harder, especially for the United States. They say, I have to go now, I have other things to do. I left the iron on, I left the beans cooking, and Maran gave himself away, and they go back and that's it, it's over. I mean, no, this is really crazy. Honestly, I can't imagine what could happen. I think he says it more to block because it would be a huge mistake, right?
I mean,
No, you don't win the conflict. I mean, from a strategic point of view, because I insist one thing is the strategy, another thing is the battles, right? From that point of view, you don't win, and on top of that, you lose your alliance. More importantly, when it comes to energy, well, yeah, it's kind of tough. Let's address other important matters. A topic that seemed like it had already disappeared but clearly isn't going away. What happened with Charlie Kirk is getting stranger and stranger. Do you remember this guy? This young communicator, very much on the right wing in the United States, very pro-Trump and so on, right? And who, well, lost his life in an attack by a kid. Supposedly the kid turned himself in.
what's his name? Tyler Robbins.
Robbins, he turned himself in. But there were some really strange things. If you've been following this and have seen the videos, there are things that are super, super, super weird, right? Without even getting all conspiracy. No, nothing like that. Just simply nothing more. Look at it. If you watch, there are some pretty curious things about the people around. There's something going on there that makes you think this goes beyond just a kid who wanted to shoot. I mean, no. Now, it turns out that the bullet that came from the gun this guy had is different from the one that took Charlie Kier's life. So, who is there? A second shooter? I mean, what's going on there? Besides, I mean, on another note, the sheriff in charge of handing over and negotiating this guy's surrender, because remember, he left. At that moment, he disappears from the scene. They find him later. Yeah, so they negotiate with the sheriff for him to turn himself in. The kid turns himself in, and now that sheriff has already resigned from the police. And yeah, they're going to say it was for one thing and that he resigned for another. Whatever you want, either way, he resigned. So, obviously, this is getting stranger and stranger as it is, and it was already a very weird case. The behavior, by the way, of the widow, the wife, super strange. Really, really strange, huh? What do you say? What's going on? I mean, what? I haven't wanted to talk about these crazy theories that are out there, but then suddenly, well, the facts make me think that maybe some of those theories aren't so far-fetched, right? I mean, that it was on purpose to create, well, a distraction effect or whatever you want to call it, right? I mean, there are a lot of possible reasons, but it seems like this goes beyond just a crazy guy who decided to shoot Charlie Keene. But, I mean, suddenly that gets really weird, exactly.
Okay, let's look at the facts. A court document states that the bullet that took Charlie's life doesn't match the rifle that Tyler Robinson supposedly used. That detail is key because the prosecution claims that Robinson used that specific rifle to commit this murder at the University of Utah.
If the prosecution claims that but the bullet doesn't match, will they have to let him go?
Exactly. Well, the defense, Charlie's defense claims that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives couldn't link this recovered bullet to the weapon that Tyler used. And this, well, opens up the possibility for the defense to present what's called a ballistic analysis as exculpatory evidence. With this, basically, he would be cleared, he would go free, in addition to more complex DNA reports, which would also require, well, multiple tests of genetic profiles in several samples. It would make the investigation more complicated and take months to gather this information.
Very strange. This whole case is very strange, no matter how much you want to, well, say otherwise. That the pattern is that he was a lone wolf. I don't know what. From the beginning, sometimes, yes, it's very obvious that it's a lone wolf. They investigate his background. They look at everything. They say, yes, look, there's the whole trail. This time, it was clear from the start that something was strange about the case. And, well,
Yes, so if it wasn't him, who was it?
who was it and with and for what reason? I mean, no, man, there it is. Just imagine the family of both, right? The family of Charlie Keene.
Yes, but at the end of the day, the father supposedly turned him in. I mean,
The father turns him in. I mean, the father says, well, here he is. I don't know what. And it turns out there's something more there, right? Well, let's see what happens. But yes, this whole case is really bizarre. Yes, let's move on to other important matters as well. Thanks. To make things even stranger today. Well, this Marco Rubio, Secretary of State of the United States, is upset, and it's because NATO didn't treat him well the other day. They also scolded him. The European Union. No, the European Union attended a meeting with itself. Do you remember that we talked about it here, that it was in a monastery in France? But the truth is that people were really, well, the European leaders were really upset with the United States because of the whole Iran issue and everything. They've been called cowards and they've been called all sorts of things. He said, hey, tone it down a bit. And that's when they started getting annoyed. Marco Rubio supposedly comes out very upset. In that photo of the European Union, which we showed you here, you can see the whole European Union, everyone, all of them there, with half a smile, not looking very happy. And Marco Rubio is separated off to the side. Marco Rubio appears alone there. I mean, honestly, it was obvious that they were giving him the cold shoulder. They had already done it to Trump a few times, then to Marco Rubio. Now they're saying they're considering leaving NATO. You say, dude, you're the one who benefits the most, right? I mean, in the end, you lead the alliance, you've led it, you sell them weapons, it's a huge business, the whole NATO thing. So now you're going to say you want to leave, dude? I mean, not only is it not believable, but it would also be a huge strategic mistake. But anyway, that's what they're saying.
exactly today, Marco Rubio. What he says is that they're very disappointed by the lack of NATO support in the Iran war. But anyway, the thing is that NATO's rules say that you have to be attacked for the others to react. Otherwise, it's not possible.
NATO was built. NATO is an organization, an alliance that has its own operating rules. And it's, if you attack me, I can attack. If not, then no. That's how NATO works.
And well,
If they're going to break the basic rules, well, then what's the point of you being there?
and well, they bring up again the narrative that, well, NATO has made them help Ukraine in this war with Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But we also have to admit that Europe has been attacked in many ways by Russia. In fact, Article 5 should have already been invoked by now. Well, they've turned a deaf ear, but there have been cyber attacks, there have been literal physical attacks, sabotage, they've set places on fire, they've blown up trains. I mean, they've done a lot of things in Europe, and NATO hasn't reacted. They've wanted to keep calm. Of course, that's where the article applies.
Yes, of course, it applies now because their rules say if there's an attack, a cyber attack or sabotage, it can also apply. But well, things I don't think they're going to do. By the way, the image we're showing right now of the beginning of this tremendous attack on a weapons depot area in Iran, in Isfahan, is Trump already bragging about it?
Yes.
We mentioned it. Trump is already bragging, which I hadn't seen before. Yes.
He doesn't say anything. I mean,
That's it. He just shares the image. Isn't this the one? Well, there it is. I thought he had retweeted it, but no. I mean, he posts it. He uploads it. I mean, he uploads the video. And well, supposedly because they're considering this to be one of the attacks of the whole war, the whole month, this would be one of the hardest in terms of the number of missiles and the amount of weapons destroyed by the United States, by Israel, or by whoever did it. Because honestly, they haven't said that part. Sometimes they say, was it Israel or was it the United States or was it both? It's unclear what weapons were used this time, but I believe it was American B-52s.
B-52?
Right? They're the ones with the weapons. These are for going underground, for entering bunkers. So it could be, well, an American attack, right? So that's why I imagine they're showing it off and we can use another topic, not another one. Let's go to the comments then. How have you been? How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us.
Vacations? Aren't you going on vacation? Show off, tell us yes, according to Article 5, says Perlo. Well, it suddenly seemed like you weren't. They don't want to apply it or get involved. Getting involved is different. War is much more serious, right? But they're hoping that Ukraine will stop the problem. That's the hope of the European countries.
Well, and this one, yes, exactly now. Greetings. How have you been? Perla, Adilson, Guillermo. Very good, he says. Also, NATO is more bipolar than Trump. It lives in a permanent loop of contradiction. Yes, it has a lot of ambiguity, a lot of constant ambiguity. Greetings. How have you been?
Marcelo sent us Verderi. Yes, the video of Soy. It's just that he was at Pal Norte.
Ah, awesome. We'll check it right now. Of course.
I sent 2 images as well.
Let's see. Awesome. It says, greetings. But Trump hasn't considered the United States at all. On the contrary, he treats them badly, and Trump leans more towards Russia. That's what it says.
Yes, of course.
That's right.
Yes, she's going to defend someone.
It's going to be Russia.
Yes, greetings to Vivo. When do they premiere? Oh, in Saudi.
If everything goes well, like Amazon says that the package is going to arrive, I don't know what it would be on Saturday and on Saturday if you want and it doesn't bother you and you find it interesting. At the end of the stream, we'll tell you about the microphone odyssey. Because it's been 2 months of something arriving, it's wrong, you approve it, it arrives, they send another one. Literally 2 of the microphones, the first ones we ordered disappeared. I mean, I don't know if it was at customs, if it was, I think it was the delivery service. From what I understand, it was the delivery service. Of course, obviously they don't charge you, they just say, you know what, something happened, the microphones aren't there. Well, a series of things, but we're telling you about it because it was a whole thing. Like they say, patience. It's not just that. You simply have to be patient when you want something to happen.
But yes, to avoid it getting stuck in customs, since I can already see that's happening.
Yes, talking a lot. You're talking a lot, right? But today everyone confirmed that it will arrive on Saturday. Yes, so if it arrives on Saturday, we'll try it out on Saturday and tell you how it went. And hopefully it works.
Greetings to Eduardo Salazar. Is he your relative? Yes, he lives in Buenos Aires, Argentina. You have a relative there?
I have relatives over there, my cousin Eduardo.
Greetings, Eduardo.
How have you been with Render?
Greetings to Adelson and also to Christy Canas.
Who says, I'm here, I'm listening to you, but I just got to the chat. Greetings, Adelson, how have you been? Very good.
Blanca from Barcelona says, no vacations. Everything is expensive and I'm afraid to travel by car. Honestly, says Blanca. Greetings, Blanca.
That's the thing. Greetings, Blanca. Very good. I know, man, we miss going out like that. Some good vacations, a little hotel, all that. But yeah.
It's short, just a short one, even if it's short. Greetings to Celeste Indigo. How are you, Celeste?
Greetings, Celeste. How have you been?
Panterita Sismic says, very good. I'm going to Dubai.
Hey, there's a sale in Dubai, he says. There's a sale?
Yes. Greetings to YTL today. Greetings from Chile, Copiaco, Atacama region. Great show. Mexican friends, thank you very much. Greetings. See you. Greetings.
The people. What Christy said, which I totally agree with. I defend that section. This says comment. I really liked your short notes during the day. And that suddenly Astrid also takes notes like a reporter on assignment. That dynamic is cool, right?
Thank you, Christy. The thing is, well, right now, because sometimes it can be done, but I don't know when we're in the house. Regards,
he says. No, but thank you, Christy. I'm glad you liked it. I hope it can continue. And yes, this one is interesting. The truth is that it is complicated for Astrid, but we found a way to adjust it. And I suggested it to Astrid to see if she would be up for it, and she was. And I said, that's great, cool. She regretted it for a moment, really, but usually the part about organizing the notes in the morning is my job. Astrid sends me a lot of information, a lot of analysis. She tells me things because obviously I can't analyze everything myself, so Astrid analyzes other things. And I had the idea to try this, but just to test it only during vacation. So now that we're on vacation, I wanted to try it and Astrid wanted to as well. And I said, let's see if people like it. And if Astrid can do it, that would be awesome. Even if it's just a segment. Every now and then it's cool, she says. Europeans, she says. Marcella, cheers, Marcella.
Greetings also to Ofe Mendez. How are you? To Ariel Bravo. Greetings to both. Greetings to Ariel. And did you feel like it? I can't. Well, my daughter just started working. It's very strange and she's in charge of helping people trapped in elevators in the United States. It's English. English is essential. 9 hours of work, but very interesting. How crazy.
And it's kind of stressful, I imagine, because you have to keep working. What's her name? The people? Very calm, but there will be others who aren't so much. What an interesting job.
Greetings too.
I remember that movie, the one that's all phone calls with this Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, I don't recall the movie's name, but it was good.
Several people at the 911 call center are doing a great job throughout.
So you can recommend something to me?
No, what I was going to look for was, do you remember I was going to recommend something? You were going to recommend? I mentioned it earlier.
Yes, the YouTuber, the one who went, yes.
Yes.
Greetings. Greetings, family from Honduras. Say hi to me too. Greetings, unpronounceable name. Greetings. It sounds like an Icelandic name to Canyon. That's how Icelandic names are.
How do we greet you?
Greetings to Henry Carvajal in Venezuela. How are you, Henry? Tomorrow, Marco Rubio will meet Maria Corina. Let's see what happens. Honestly, I think Trump feels very comfortable with the gift. The Peace Prize from Maria.
Our meeting, yes. I mean, isn't it the same together? No, because they're going to meet at the State Department since you're going to the department. In fact, is this meeting more important than Trump's? Yes, I mean, for Maria Corina to go to the State Department, it's more important for you to go. You go to the White House and it's more of a show. It's about presenting you to the media. And the State Department, that's the department that operates abroad, that really carries out operations overseas. So if Maria Corina is going there, it's because, well, it's not for show, it's for something. So that's why that meeting is really interesting. And there was another meeting you told me about.
Also interesting that tomorrow they're going to hold a press conference and Duncan is also in charge of the military. This one is good too. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Hi, Tommy. How are you? What time is it? He says he's on vacation. Where to, Tommy? Greetings as well, says Waiko. Awesome. That's how I was as a war correspondent. And let's see, in the mud, oh, should I wear military clothes? I mean, funny.
Hey, well, yeah, exactly. You should have. This one turned out just like how you were. You weren't doing bad, but I mean...
You look like you were at war, but your clothes were torn. That's how it was, says the new Kronos in the case of Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I had seen a theory, that it had been. He had been eliminated by Mossad since in those days he was advising Trump to stay away from the conflict. Israel stirring up the discussion. And look where we are now. New greeting.
Cheers. How have you been?
Do you know who Super Charlie Kirk was? And does he support that too? Well, isn't it not exactly that, but similar to the one who resigned from intelligence, from counterintelligence? He's good. He's a super Trump supporter, super Charlie Kirk, that guy. I mean, he's not like a hero. Don't think I'm going to be like, oh, wow, how amazing. He defended what happened on January 6th. I mean, yeah, he's also kind of...
glorious.
Yes, I did greet myself.
But yes, he's really crazy, that's for sure. He's really crazy. However, they handled it in that case. It seems like they used that guy like they said. He's someone who's not indispensable and that you can use, and that even without being alive, he's worth more, right? Saludosa.
Well, his wife and everything about Israel.
Decisions are made just like that suddenly. I mean, look, this one is worth more dead, and this one, and you make him a hero or whatever, and this one, and well, you get distracted for a while. I mean, yeah, honestly, well, I mean...
Greetings to the... Greetings, Perla. I baptized you and sent you greetings, Ingrid. Anyway, greetings from Carabelle. Guys, that color looks really good on you, better than white.
Thank you. That's great.
Oh, the colorimetry, which is really good.
Right? I think the color, the shirts, and actually, I don't really have that many white shirts. I think it's the only one. Not the only one, but I don't have...
It's not, no. With reaction,
yes. Which one is it? Hello, this one is called Raul Roger.
The Raul Roger channel.
Raul Roger, like Raul Yo Roger, is a channel that honestly deserves more subscribers. If you like somewhat extreme travel, honestly, then check it out to see if you like extreme tourism. It's Raul Roger, but what I really love about him is that you don't feel like he's extreme. Because sometimes you see these typical guys with super long hair and yeah, with this super hippie vibe, and you think that's cool and all, right? But, well, it's kind of harder to relate to someone like that. This guy is like, I mean, to start with, he's not that young to begin with. That's already something about him. I mean, thanks, but no, I mean...
What I'm going to say is I'm starting to...
He's an adult, come on. I mean, because there's a...
Guys, he's 42.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, this And it's not very, actually, it's very simple. His video is very simple. But the interesting thing is that he goes into places where you think, dude, I mean, that guy behind you is going to rob you, man. Honestly, he goes to some crazy places.
To get a flat tire.
And no, he doesn't really give much context to the story or anything else. He gets involved and gives you little clues, and that's it. So you can investigate if you want, but it's interesting. I mean, I think that simplicity helps the channel in the long run. Even though a lot of people might want big productions, drones and all that. No, here, it's simple, and it's really about talking with people. That's it, talking and talking with everyone.
Do you eat everything or do you avoid certain foods?
He doesn't eat everything and complains if he dislikes something. That's just how he is. He has his own perspective from living in Spain, so he probably compares things to his experiences there. And he and Marcia, do they pay? They ask him if he's from Somalilandia, right? And they ask this Muslim and the non-Christian, doesn't he know what it means that he could be an uncle? I mean, I prefer that you say a state or the others, not the well-born Christian, and I say that's fine, that's cool. Very honest. When talking with the people, he has gotten into the Chinese border. Wow, is it China, maybe Pakistan, or China, India? I don't know which one. One of the difficult borders of China. He went in there. And besides, I hitchhiked since there's no transportation, just hitchhiking over and over. There are some interesting things there. Check us out if you like. That kind of trip, it's not like, well, we're not going on vacation, but look, we travel in a different way, right? Says Juan Carlos. How has Carmen been? Carmen Canizales, that's interesting. Greetings, Carmen. How have you been?
Greetings to JT Trevino and greetings from San Pedro Garcia, Nuevo León. Excellent show. Greetings, J. Trevino. Like in the case of Aunt Patty.
He says no. Who says who?
Juan Trevino asked. No, he didn't ask. Is he from San Pedro? Oh, how is it that Aunt Patty's is from San Petrin?
Okay. He says he's not going, and I don't think the case is known outside of Monterrey. That case, no. Well, maybe he says he's not going. And what do you think about the biometric registration? But the CEL line for the CEL is just around the corner. I don't want to do it since the Scholastic Assessment Test already has my info and it's already my government agency requesting it, he says, and he says it. Jeers, I agree. It's not going to happen. I guess they're going to postpone it. Almost nobody registers and there are a lot of fake registrations. Always a lot of issues. Always a lot.
Many people still haven't registered for the phone.
Who haven't registered, exactly. Greetings, it's not working. Greetings, hires. How has Ofe Mendez been? Very good. How have you been, Ofe? Jose Nelson, how are you? Also a big greeting.
Christy says comment, no one can take away the idea from me that Erica's wife got together with Charlie. The only one who is being benefited is her.
And I mean, it's just that...
Or...
I mean, did you guys see the funeral? I mean, the funeral was a show with fireworks where they were jumping around. I mean, come on, this is a very ridiculous thing, very strange, right? You couldn't feel mourning, it felt more like something else, And also, how did they talk about J.D. Vance, right? Like, in a positive way.
My husband, my friend.
Huh? My husband, my friend?
I used to tell him.
My husband, my friend, I used to tell him. No, yes, well, he says. I'm curious, do you do anything else besides this channel? Says Michael. No, nothing. There's no way. There's just no way. Imagine we start broadcasting in the morning and we end up broadcasting right now at 6 in the evening. No, there's no other option. We're giving it our all, 100%. Greetings.
No, don't say 40-something. I just turned 40 on Saturday.
Congratulations.
Haha. I was feeling down last week, but I'm over it now. I'm back to being a young lady, 20 at heart. Yes, Christy, age is really just a number, but honestly, don't you feel the same? I feel just as silly as I did when I was 20, and I still have the same tantrums.
Who
said?
The other day, Lucho, this comedian.
Yes, Lucho Meyer.
Lucho Meyer? The other day I was watching a video of him and he made a very interesting and very true comment. He's in his 40s, by the way, and they mentioned something about age. Someone commented about age and he explained something to this person that is very true. He told him, look, stop focusing on these age issues. I mean, I'm saying it in my own way because I don't remember exactly the words he used. But he said, yeah, stop paying attention to age because he said a person who's 80 or a person, I mean, they also feel just as young as I mean, maybe with their aches and pains and whatever you want. But I mean, it's not like he says, I turned 40 and I feel like a young guy of 20 or 15, you know what I mean? Or, I mean, we keep enjoying things and thinking we can achieve things, and that, I mean, it's not like you run out of energy, at least in your mind, you know? I mean, you know who really defended that? A writer who was made fun of a lot with Fox, Jose Luis, Jorge Luis Borges. He talked a lot about that topic at a very, very, very old age and wrote a bit about it. Because, well, he said that he was still making love to his wife at 80 something years old. I mean, that comment seemed very interesting to me. It stuck with me. We studied him a lot in acting class, and I remember one class in particular, they talked a lot about that topic, about ages and about letting go, because in acting it's really important that they teach you not to be prejudiced and to, okay, he's of a certain age, or that he's already impotent, he can't have relations anymore. In other cycles, in acting at least, our teacher tried to teach us not to be prejudiced and to realize that it's about the human being. It's more complex than it seems. It's not the cliche they're always trying to sell us, right? And so he gave us several examples, and I remembered that one, which really stuck with me. And honestly, it surprises me. At that time, I must have been about 20 years old, something like that, 19, I think. And yeah, I was surprised. I said, okay, I'll let go of that. I said, oh, my grandfather. So yeah, it's true. I mean, they have, or we have, right? Well, different ages, but that's life, isn't it? You want to live it, right?
Without being powerless or imposing.
That's what he says. Pepe says, Pepe 40. It's 320, he says. Yeah.
Greetings to May, he says.
I said 19, not 19, 19.
20 on each leg, says Maggie Coluna. Thank you so much for dedicating so much time to keeping us informed. Let's see if people behave and subscribe. It would be really nice if they subscribed, if they followed us. Thank you so much on Telegram. There it is. Look, it's really easy, and you'll get the notification. You'll never miss it. Greetings. And there are people in their 20s who feel 70, and vice versa. There are people in their 20s who act like they're 70. I mean, well, what we think a 70-year-old person is like, and the other way around, yes, yes.
It's definitely very psychological. This whole topic is totally beto, totally true. Hey, Verderi sent this, right? An email?
No, an email. It's in this, what's it called? On Telegram.
On Telegram. Okay.
Yes.
Let's see it.
Greetings to Tapatia, also to Tracy. She's awesome. Give it a like, you see. And also greetings to Rosalinda Moreno. And warm greetings to Pepe Yastin. Greetings.
Greetings, very good.
Greetings, how are you? She says, greetings to Rosalinda Marcela too. And let me move over here. She says, Gires, which Rubrosita agrees with. Patty, how great about your daughter, right? Isn't it great? Greetings to Juan Carlos Sanchez. She says that the price of fuel in Europe has doubled. Greetings. I don't know if it's doubled. I don't know, but it did go up. It went up. Brent is the one that goes up the most.
I always know why. Which one? Brent.
Yes, because it hit 114 in the afternoon.
Yes, sometimes it depends. Yes, sometimes it's the WIT West Texas Intermediate Texas, or sometimes it's others. But yes. Wow, what a great view. Let's see. Let me see if I can pause it. It won't let me pause, but let's see. I think there it is. Let's see if we can see it. No, that's not it. It's in this one. What's it called? Okay, what else? Well,
let's say hi to Tracy. If I'm 52 and I feel 52, says Tracy. Greetings.
Greetings, Tracy.
Says Jalala without mercy on Prime Video. Is it a near future? A detective accused of taking his wife's life has 90 minutes to prove his innocence to the advanced AI judge he once defended. Sending the best vibes. It's good. This without mercy, we have to look for it.
It looks really good. Did you go all out there, Wyckoff? That's awesome. That's awesome work. Verderi, this, what cool work. It looks amazing there, right? Yes, super close. It was.
That's it. Well, what if...
The video, if you want to watch it, is there in the Telegram group.
There it is. How did the atmosphere feel, Verderi? Because today I saw a video of this singer. What's his name? The one you like here? This one, Tyler, the creator, who had a concert today in Guadalajara, or was it yesterday in Guadalajara? And he played before at this, not at Pal Norte, and he said he didn't like the vibe in Monterrey.
That he didn't like it?
Really bad? Yeah. So that Guadalajara was better. So I said, why, or how's the vibe, or was it just something random he decided to say? But
Who says that? Who says that?
Tyler.
The creator. Tyler, I.
Yes, it says, Marilena, good evening. Please congratulate my children who are turning 30. They were born on the 28th. I love them very much. Congratulations to your children, Marilena Daniela, and your son. Sorry, I forgot his name. Congratulations to both, all the way to Puebla.
A big greeting. How have you been? And it says here, oh, I lost the comment, darn it. It says, yes, there it is. The comment says, my aunt, who is a senior, says that man who appears with that young lady, and she's referring... Greetings, tell her that she's my wife.
Chihuahuas? Yes, we're the same age. I mean, no greetings to Noves in Guadalajara. No.
I mean, she says that you're the lady and I am?
Okay, says Novas. Guadalajara is very beautiful, and well, I think the same, says Novas. No, but it's not about how beautiful it is. It's the atmosphere of the concert.
Greetings, Gualdo.
How have you been? Greetings, Gualdo. How are you?
Huge. Greetings.
Huh? Greetings also to, and of course, and it broke. Greetings.
Hi, Tomandia. How have you been? Hey, what? Better vibes?
No, it's just that it's just that to the north, people from all over Mexico come.
I think people from Guadalajara were there.
Yes, they're ruining things for us.
Here, the vibe is off. Here, nothing. No, well, that's cool, right? They've always said that Guadalajara has a really good vibe. I mean, for parties and for concerts.
I do know Guadalajara has very good-looking people.
No, but yeah, for concerts, for everything, for parties. I mean, yeah, always.
Do you remember the previous governor at the Fiestado?
No.
I don't know, Pelonchillo. What's his name? I forgot. The governor was there. The coach left twice, and I'm not sure he got a chance.
It's not right. Strange story about this governor. I forgot the name. Yes, it hurts me. It's just that as soon as they finish being governor,
we erase them from what we do.
He already erases them, but look.
Like Anthony Blinken, whom we barely remember.
Interesting, because he was the governor of a state like Jalisco, which, I mean...
With a new party?
A big state with a new party. I used to think this person would definitely have a political future. I'm not sure how he left things there, but that's a separate issue. Suddenly they say, oh, well, he trained to be a coach and now he's going to be a soccer coach. And, well, it's good that he's following his
I'm heading one way. I'm going to be an astronaut. Greetings.
He says, this time I felt people were more relaxed in Monterrey than in Mexico City. But the festival is so eclectic and there are so many different artists that it feels impersonal for the artist. Of course, that's true. You're not going to...
A lot of people don't know about it.
They're watching Tyler and don't even know who he is, right?
Those who attended the concert did so because they know him.
Exactly.
He says, dude, that Guadalajara is the one that's not gay. It's more...
No, that's a macho man. No, there's everything. Like everywhere else, there was Alfaro. Yeah, there's nothing. Alfaro does say cheers, young man.
He says thank you and says, that was from my mother-in-law. She told me she felt old and she just turned 60. Of course, there are people who are ageless and never look their age, but also, yes, we shouldn't compare ourselves to others. Yes?
Well, no. But I really do like stories about the... That's why I sometimes bring you some news about the lady from who knows what so many ages, and she managed, I don't know, a little more to inspire us. Not so much to compare, but yes, to inspire us. Well, some years ago, I found out, I've told you about it here. At that time, I was, I don't know, in my 30s. And I found out that a friend I thought was my age actually was about 10 years older. I said, wow, that's crazy. I mean, but well, you notice that when people, I feel this, that when people really enjoy what they do, I feel like they look a bit younger. That's how I feel. I don't know if it's just my impression or whatever. And this guy, he's a musician, right? He clearly really enjoys what he does. He says, they say that Guadalajara is, well, he doesn't say.
He says, the lighthouse, well, it's good that she became a coach because as a governor, she was very bad and corrupt. But, well, they did give her the job because they just never gave her the job, he says. Yeah, she's not going. Enrique Alfaro left to escape the mess he let grow around there. They're returning him a big favor so he can get out.
Greetings, says Tapatia. Those comments are embarrassing. There's a lot of envy, she says. Greetings, Tapatia.
Greetings to our group. And she says, what's up? Brent is more expensive since oil in Europe is more expensive due to logistics. But both types of oil always have a margin of difference, almost always similar to pair trading.
Of course. Hey, look, suddenly, for example, right now, no, how is Brent doing? Or which one do I use as a base? Although sometimes I also have West Texas Intermediate down here, or there's an option that TrendingView gives you, which is like an average of the main ones. No, but I prefer Brent because at least I know, what's going on. It's one of the most important ones. Now, look how, oh no, this isn't showing but anyway, it's at $110 right now. Almost 111. Everything was done today. It doesn't look like it's going to go down, honestly. He says, if you want to stay active, it's essential. I lived with many seniors at the golf course who, even at 70, played all 18 holes and walked easily. He says, of course, with their beer, but that's for the heat. He says, of course, cheers.
David says here in the United States, you age in dog years. The work pace makes you get old really fast.
But yeah, that's true too. Too much stress, well, yeah, that also ages you, right? It depends on your personality, genetics, and many other factors. Let's go.
All right, guys, remember that we're on WhatsApp and Telegram. There's the Telegram. Don't be lazy. Point your phone at it and you'll even get scolded. There's Telegram. There's the Telegram. And if you prefer WhatsApp, then on WhatsApp, look for Pepe Live in the news section.
Tiene código, ¿verdad? El WhatsApp.
No, what can you do? I don't know, but anyway, the point is that we're there. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and X. But anyway.
No, it's going to be huge. Cheers, don't be sad, trans little panther.
I'm not writing everything. You don't give them a chance.
Greetings, hope you're all well. See you later. We interrupt your regular programming.
Thank you for tuning into The Truth.
This is Pepe Live.
The truth is intense, hard, the unusual is real, pure. Here we analyze it, global focus, don't stay out, connect to the channel. Pepe Live, controlling the signal. Pepe and Astrid, telling it like it is. Raw journalism, here it's respected. Turn on the alert, don't lose track until next time. Yes, sir.
We're taking attendance.
Suscríbete. Pepe Live in the house.